why not dive into some NFL, some Eagles, and some Phillies and everything else Philly-related with ESPN's Sal Paolantonio, who joins us now on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. He spent a couple of days in Clearwater with the Phillies. You were there for the Bryce Harper brouhaha, man.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you what. In fact, I was supposed to be on your show Friday afternoon. My apologies. But, airlines these days, you can never count on them being on time. So I got in late, and my wife was like, you better call Mike because he's been good to you. You better call him up on Monday and find out apologize. So I'm apologizing.
All right, apology accepted. Thanks to your wife. I appreciate her making sure you called me up.
She was the inspiration and motivation, no question. Because guys don't apologize to guys.
No, man. I didn't think I'd hear from you again. I thought you were ghosting me forever.
Oh, no way, Mike Gill. No way. I love your show. Love what you do. Absolutely. And, the whole Bryce Harper scene down there is extraordinary. I lived through the whole TO scene up in Westchester.
Oh, wow.
Up in Lehigh. That whole training camp where 35,000 people showed up for T.O., singing his name, the sing-song, T.O., 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 T.O. Remember all that? And,
where I was going when that happened, by the way, Sal. When that happened, the day T.O. got traded, I was going to Phillies spring training. I was flying down that afternoon. Synergy, right?
Funny. Life is imitating art here. How about that? So, I went through the whole video thing. We all went through it together. This is like that. I mean, Bryce Harper, he's a leading man. He's a star. He's a Matt Damon. He's a George Clooney. Men, women, and children were coming out and just swooning over Harper. It was funny. I ran into Charlie Manuel. I was watching batting practice. I never met Charlie, really. I never really covered much of the Phillies in their World Series run, but he was very magnanimous and friendly. And I said, and he goes, yeah, I know who you are. Yeah, I see you on SportsCenter all the time. I said, what do you think of Bryce Harper? And he said, he's got a lot of little boy in him. We need that around here.
Well, you just said it about how I go to spring training. I'm leaving Tuesday to go back to Clearwater. I've gone 15 straight years to go to Clearwater, not for work, just for vacation.
Nothing better.
Right? In fact, I don't know if you remember this. One of my favorite moments, I'm doing the show live from what was Bright House Field, now Spectrum Field. I had you and Jason Stark on the show at the same time, and you guys were interviewing each other.
I remember that. How many years ago was that? That was awesome. So are you doing your show down there next week?
No, I'm going for vacation. I'm not doing the show. I'm just going to watch some baseball and watch some NCAA tournament. But the last couple of years – the buzz hasn't been there. It's been different, but It looks like the buzz is back.
It is back, and he is a big star. I was with Tom Verducci of Sports Illustrated, and this was on Thursday. It was Phillies-Yankees. Verducci was there. We were standing behind the batting cage, and we were watching batting practice, and I'd never met him, and I really respect what he does. I told him, hey, Tom, I read everything that you write because I'm a big baseball. I'm a seamhead at heart. And I said to him, so, how much of a star is Bryce Harper? And he said, Sal, there was a company in London, a public relations company, that did a survey, an international survey, the biggest marketable stars in professional sports worldwide. And there were only 3 baseball players in the top 50. Aaron Judge was number 9. I looked it up, and I checked it out and verified it. Aaron Judge was number 9. Bryce Harper was number 14. And Ohtani was number 43.
Wow.
So that tells you how much of a big star Bryce Harper is.
Well, the expectations are a lot higher this year than they were last year because the team was competitive last year, yet nobody wanted to see them. But in baseball, you need that guy. And Philly, hey, you got to compete with the other teams in town now, man. There's stars everywhere.
Yeah, Joel Embiid owns social media. Carson Wentz and the Eagles are, as relevant as they've always been. Super Bowl hangover is still very much alive. People are still have that snap, crackle, pop about that. So, yeah, the Phillies needed to be relevant again. There's no question.
Which brings us to the Eagles, which today is an interesting day here. It's the legal tampering period of the NFL.
I love it.
Yeah, right? It's just go out in the wild, wild west. And the Eagles, Howie Roseman already making moves. I mean, they got Malik Jackson in here. They restructure with Jason Peters. And now there's some talk that Deshaun Jackson could be back. So Howie, as usual, making some moves here.
I'll see a Malik, and I'll raise you a Deshaun for Jackson. How about that? Listen, you want to make the Michael Bennett trade more palatable. You go out and get Malik Jackson. You put Malik Jackson next to Fletcher Cox. Now you got something.
Yeah,
and you got something for a pretty good price. $10 million per year for 3 years for an interior pass rusher of that caliber. Absolutely a great move. I like it.
Yeah, they let Jernigan go and they replace him with Malik Jackson. So that's you mentioned Bennett, but they also lost Jernigan, and they were a little light in the middle there last year.
Yep, absolutely. I like it. I like it a lot.
What you think of the Bennett deal? Was that him? Did Bennett open his mouth too much, or was that inevitable?
I think he just wanted a pay raise, and the Eagles weren't going to pay him at that age. You know, they don't overpay for older players. Mm-hmm. That's always been the way. That's been the history with Howie Roseman. I don't like trading him to the Patriots. But, listen, if they were going to let him go and not give him a pay raise, it's better to get something than nothing.
And then Jason Peters. I mean, a lot of people, he's slipping a little bit. But to me, if you brought him back at the same number, different. But him to rework the contract to help the team out, he's still, even slipping, is better than most.
To me, the biggest move of the day, if it's true, and it's true because Chris Mortensen tweeted about it moments ago, Deshaun Jackson coming back. Deshaun Jackson makes everybody better. He makes Alshon better. He makes Zach Ertz better. He makes Dallas Goedert better. He makes the running game better. He'll make Carson Wentz better. Deshaun Jackson is still at the advanced age of whatever he is. He's over 30 now. I know
32.
That. Whatever he is. How old is he, Michael?
32.
Unbelievable. At the advanced age of 32, Michael, he's still one of the fastest players in the NFL, positively pyrotechnic. Got to account for him when he's on the football field with a safety deep at all times, as the Eagles learned. Week 2, 75-yarder to open the game.
I want you to, because we had some callers in the first hour who were skeptical of bringing him back. They thought he was a bad guy, bad locker room chemistry.
No. Deshaun Jackson's a great guy. Has a big heart, really does. Great guy. I tried to convince him of that.
I tried to convince him they might believe you more than me.
No, I'm telling you, I've had many dealings with Deshaun Jackson and his family. They're a big-hearted family. They're very charitable. Deshaun Jackson is a good guy. And I say, hey, I'll tell you what, Malik Jackson, D-Jax, let's go Shady. Bring Shady back.
Well, they got to find a running back. I don't know if it's going to be Shady, but they got to go run. Tevin Coleman?
I'm all in on Shady, baby. Let's go back to the future.
Is Shady available? Is he going to be someone that's available?
Now, see, I think you and I are engaged in what's called illegal tampering on Sports Talk Radio. Right now, I think this might be. If we're recording this, I hope nobody's listening. I hope they're not listening in Buffalo.
Right.
But this is definitely illegal tampering. I'm campaigning for Shady, and you're like all on board.
I think that wouldn't Buffalo probably look for a taker at this point? It seems like he's been available since he's got there.
I know, right? He never really wanted to be there.
Right. Nobody ever wants to go there, right?
There was if they signed him to a big contract.
Nobody ever wants to go to Buffalo.
He wanted to leave Philly.
Yeah.
No, he didn't want to leave Philly.
Real quick on Deshaun Jackson. If they bring Jackson in, do they have to let Aguilar go?
I believe so, yes. Yes, I do.
Monetarily, right?
Yeah, I believe that they do. I think they owe Aguilar up over $9 million this year, which, I don't know. Yeah, when you look at the box score of the game in New Orleans, Aguilar was very unhappy after that game in that locker room. I remember he just seemed very unhappy. I think he only got targeted 2 or 3 times and had 1 catch in that game. And, that to me is a telltale sign about where they were headed with Nelson Aguilar. And I always say, Michael, I will say it until the day I die. Alshon Jeffrey catches that football in the fourth quarter. Eagles win that game, beat the Rams in L.A. in the NFC Championship game, and then win Super Bowl number 2 back-to-back over the Patriots. Are you kidding me? Michael, the Eagles scored 41 on the Patriots, and the Rams scored 3. and Sean McVay was the coach of the year over Doug Peterson. Michael, come on, help me on this.
I saw a coaching ranking that had Belichick 1, Andy Reid 2, McVay 3, and Peterson 4.
Oh, you're hurting me now.
It wasn't my ranking.
That's just that. Who was responsible for that ranking? Honestly,
I think this was an NBC ranking.
Oh my good God! I have no words. It's Belichick 1,
yes.
Peterson 2. And Sean McVay's not in the top 5. I'm sorry. He's just not.
Not yet, yeah. I mean, I do want to get your take on this Antonio Brown situation and how he got himself out of Pittsburgh, because I think it sets a bad precedent for what could happen down the road. You got Julio Jones up for deals. You got some big receivers now that could be following suit.
Yep. Not good. Definitely not good. And I think, players around the league are noticing it without a doubt. There's no question, Michael. They're noticing if you make enough noise like that, you can talk your way out of town.
If you have enough,
the interesting thing is that he kept making more and more noise, right? And it was inevitable that he was going to leave. But every time he did an interview, whether it was on the shop or even with us. And, Jeff Darlington did a great job, I thought, in drawing him out and his anger out. But every time he took a shot at the Steelers, if you're the other team, you're like, listen, you're handcuffed. You're saying to Kevin Colbert, the GM of the Steelers, you're handcuffed here. You know he's not coming back. The situation is poisonous. We're not giving you a first-round pick. Mm-hmm. So Brown not only got his money, but he drove the price down for a potential suitor down to where the Raiders could get him without giving up a first-round pick.
And if you have a large enough following on Instagram, like Sal Pal ESPN, follow him on Instagram, over 20,000 followers now, you can make a stink and get out of your position.
I like my job.
Well, I'm talking about
being on the Mike Gill show.
I'm talking about
Eddie. We're going to do this more often, and I gotta make sure that my flight schedule doesn't interfere with Sal Pal Fridays with Sal Pal for sure.
All right, man. Well, next week I will be in sunny Florida, although I hear the weather's supposed to dip when I'm there. But I will see Bryce Harper hysteria with my own 2 eyes. Tuesday to Tuesday, I'm out of here.
All right, well, around draft time, give me a call and we'll talk draft.
All right, pal. Take care.
See you, Michael.